What's going on, guys? Will Blendon, nice guy, driver. This is good news for me anyway. Um, this happened just today. It's a rainy Saturday, still morning, not noon yet. And this is just to explain to you guys how when you least expect it, if you're nice to pretty much the majority of your passengers, because I'm gonna tell a story about how I got a passenger that wasn't so nice, and I got a passenger that was really nice, like back to back, and the difference it made. So I picked up this young man today, Caucasian young man, young enough to be my son. No ditty, but good looking, clean cut young man. Comes out, has a good attitude. You know, you could just tell, has a good attitude, good spirit. And he got in the car. I was like, hi, how you doing? He was like, how you doing, man? Having a good day? I'm like, yeah, it's not bad. Even though it's a rainy day, I like to be in good spirits sometimes. And I told him how literally just before I picked him up, about the last passenger I had that wasn't so nice to me. And it just happened to be a pretty Latina. And I was telling him, I was like, I just picked up this gorgeous Latina, and she had the nastiest attitude, probably because she was going to do laundry, and a pretty woman that can't get a ride and has to order a lift. She was on the lift side. Probably was just in a bad mood because it's a rainy day. She got to go do laundry. But she was such a pretty young lady. And I'm like, I was just amazed that her attitude was so bad. I pull up and she's like directing me to back up closer to where she was. She couldn't even walk a foot in front of her to the car. I had to back up right in front of her door for her to put the bag in. And I was telling him about it. He's like, yeah, man, I sometimes you're just like that. And even though this young man is young enough to be my child, he's traveled. He was telling me about how he's traveled to Colombia and different places, and the women are much nicer outside the country. And we were saying if some places in Europe and even Colombia, they like darker skinned men. And we just had a great conversation about women in general. And it was a really good conversation. You know, I dropped him off. It wasn't even a long ride. It probably was like a 10-minute ride. Dropped him off. He was like, yeah, man, thanks, man, for the talk. I'm gonna leave you a tip in the app. And he was on Uber. The lady I picked up was on Lyft. And I wasn't expecting a tip, guys. I really wasn't. I try to be nice to most of my passengers. Like the lady got in, she already was negative. So there wasn't much I could do to, make that encounter better. So I ended the ride. He was like, yeah, man, nice talking to you. Hope your rest of your day is good. Literally, I didn't even leave the location yet, and the $10 tip popped up. Now, we know how these rideshare apps work. They usually like to hold your money. I don't know what it is. They like to hold your tip till that afternoon or even the next day. For some odd reason, maybe Uber's listening in on conversations, or they realize they can't do that for every tip. Literally, I got the tip like that, $10. Now, this is not to brag about the amount of the tip, but I'm willing to bet not all of you get $10 tips on a regular. I get $5 and $10 tips on the regular just being nice. It has nothing to do with the nice guy driver thing. I literally try to be nice to probably like 90% of my passengers. There's some that are just going to give me attitude, I give it back. But I was not looking for a tip, especially from somebody that wasn't even 30 years old yet. He was probably like, I think he said he was 26. He was younger than my daughter. $10 tip, literally like that. And Uber gave it to me. That's the other shocking part of the story. Uber actually gave me my tip right away. Thank you, Uber, finally. But the encounter I had beforehand, he literally could relate, because he was like, yeah, some women are just like that, and they're pretty on the outside, they're really ugly on the inside. And I mean, I was not letting her slide the fact that she was pretty, neither. The lady on the Lyft passenger, I put 1 star, and I hit no because I unmatched her. Because I don't like when people are attractive and they think that's going to get them by in this world. You can't treat people like dirt because you had a bad day. I get it. She probably really was pissed off that she is a pretty woman and can't get a man to pick her up and go take her to the laundromat. Or she could have just been mad to even do the laundry, period. I don't know what it is. And she didn't shut my door all the way. And I was like, ma'am, could you shut my door? And she said something in Spanish, so I'm guessing she didn't speak a lot of English. But she said it and it looked like she had an attitude that I was even bothering her. And she slammed the door shut and, okay, like said it like really aggressively. And then when I finally go to drop her off, I pull up in front of the laundromat. There's a couple cars ahead of me, so I couldn't get right at the door. She wanted me to double park in a busy parking lot so she can be right in front of the door. And I'm like, some people you can't win, but if you go out of your way to just try to be nice, have nice conversations, sometimes it pays off. Literally, right after a bad situation, a good situation. And I really like to live that on a regular. Like, even if I'm in a bad mood, there's times I've been in a bad mood for whatever reason. I've come out, did a couple rides that day, and I did not take it out on my passengers. I didn't. I do the opposite. I go out of my way to be like overly friendly because I know inside I'm still mad about the current situation. So I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to take this out on these people. I'm like, hi, how you doing? And I try to be overly nice on purpose. Almost like trying to play games with myself to be like, you know what? Don't take this out on them. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it pays off, and then sometimes I get nothing. That's why I said I'm willing to bet some of you don't get tips hardly at all. There's days I go and I don't get not even 1 tip. And there's days where I get back-to-back tips. I know the weather sometimes does affect the tips. Sometimes when it's a nice day, I'll get more tips. Sometimes it's a rainy day, I get less. But today's a rainy day. Could be considered a nasty, negative day, and I turn it into a positive. Just by getting that one $10 tip, put me in a better mood. So it's just a little tip. Hope I didn't go too long with the story, but try to be positive as much as you can. Not for the tip, but try to be positive as much as you can. And sometimes the tip comes along with you being positive and just having good conversations. You know, because the kid really appreciated the good conversation because he got in, and I could just tell in his walk, he was just in a good mood. You know what I'm saying? And you can't let one bad situation, even though sometimes you feel like it is gonna ruin your day. Sometimes one bad interaction will ruin your day, you know. And I hate to get on women, but I would say most of my bad interactions I feel are women. I hate to say that. I'm just being honest. And I really feel like because women carry their emotions more, where a guy could have just had an argument with his wife or girlfriend and not take it on to other people, where women have to, sometimes they're in a bad mood and they want to put that bad mood on everybody. You might disagree, but I've seen women that literally, this woman could have just had an argument with her man and literally is going to take it out on the world. And I asked a couple that one time. I had a married couple in the car, and I was like, is this true? Do women do this, and this? And the married woman said, yes, we do that. We tend to take it out on everybody. And the husband was like, yeah, they do that. Men try not to do that. Sometimes it happens, you know. There's an exception to every rule. So I don't want women to jump in the comments and be like, I'm not like that, because some women aren't like that. I'm saying that most of my interactions, I feel that the bad interactions are women. I had one bad interaction with a young man. Had one. But that was one in the whole year. One guy, one young man. The whole entire year. All the rest of bad interactions were women. At least I could say different races. A lot of times they're different races. So I can't say it's, you know, put it on just black women or just white women, or it's all different races of women. I've had bad interactions. One guy so far this year. So I don't know if that means anything. I'm just, you know, stating the obvious or stating the facts. But this is just a story into my life. Those two interactions just happened today on a Saturday. You probably won't see this on a Saturday. You'll probably see this a couple days, maybe even a week later. But I just wanted to share that with you because I want you guys to stay positive. The only way you're going to get these bigger tips is to stay positive. You know, as much as you can, stay positive, because we know some of these passengers, and I don't know if you guys noticed this, but I can't even put it on a particular app, but if I were to guess, I've had more negative interactions on Uber than Lyft. It just so happens this negative one was on Lyft and the good one was on Uber, but I'm saying majority wise, I feel like Uber passengers are more snobs per se. I feel like Lyft passengers are not as aggressive or bad. You know, I would say the majority of trips. Maybe it's different for you. Hit me in the comments. Let me know how you feel. Stay positive. You know, keep going out there doing your thing. Try to get some private rides in between if you can. And enjoy the rest of your day. I want you guys to continue to support. You can support the channel free. It doesn't cost anything. Subscribe, like, comment, click the bell icon, and I'm going to see you guys in the next video. Thank you.